Hello folks, and welcome back to the channel. Apologies for not posting in a while, but been busy with other things. But anyway, let's get straight to the subject of today's video, which is this item here, the Olympus OM Power Bounce Grip 2. I think there was a Mark 1 version of this as well, but the version I have is the Mark 2. Not quite sure what the differences are between them. But as I say, I'm going to talk about the Mark II version here today, which is the one I have. Really, the whole point of the Bounce Grip 2 is to get the flash off the hot shoe of an Olympus OM camera, because as I alluded to in another video, if you mount the T-series flash guns in the hot shoe of the Olympus camera, as you can see, the flash is very close to the axis of the lens, and you do tend to get a lot of red eye if you're using either the T20 or the T32 in the hot shoe of the Olympus OM 35mm camera system. So what is best to do then is to get the flash out of the hot shoe and mount it off to the side, either to the right or to the left on a bracket. And of course the Power Bounce Grip 2 achieves this. It's a very versatile piece of equipment. It comes in two parts. As I say, there's the base part, which attaches to the base of the camera via the tripod socket, and there's the actual grip piece here as well. The base part actually has a built-in PC lead here, which is useful if you're using the bracket with cameras like the OM1. Then you can attach it to the OM1's PC socket, or indeed any camera which has a PC socket on it. This is built into the bottom of the grip, so you simply plug that into the PC socket on the camera and you'll be able to synchronize the flash with the camera via the PC lead. It also has the additional benefit, the Power Bounce Grip 2, that you can attach a through the lens capable flash to it, such as the T20 or the T32. Down at the bottom you can see there's a through the lens socket down on the bottom of the grip. So if we were attaching this to the say the OM4, the OM3, the OM4 Ti, or the OM2 Spot program, they all have a through the lens socket like that on them. So you can use this lead, plug it in on the bottom of the bounce grip there, and then you would get your camera and attach it to the bounce grip. I'll move it round to the left hand side just to start off with. I'll attach it to the camera here. I'll have to remember always to, on the OM2 Spot program, you have a little cover over the cover for the motor winder there. If you're attaching the motor wind, don't forget to take that little cover off there. I will be putting on a motor wind on this later on, so I'll maybe just take it off now before I forget. So I'll take that out of the way. Just use a coin to take the little motor drive cover off. Screws out. Alright, that's the little motor drive cover taken off there. Always have to remove that if you're fitting a winder or a motor drive to the camera. But anyhow, we're going to fit this just onto the base of the OM2 Spot program in this particular example. So we fit it on, tighten it up, And then, as I say, this through the lens cord is plugged into the base of the power bounce grip, and we then can attach the through the lens cord to the through the lens socket on the OM2 spot program. In this case, as I say, if you have an OM3 and OM4, 4TI, they all have that particular socket, through the lens socket on there, so you can use the flash and through the lens mode on the bracket of the camera. Now it uses 4 C-size cells in the bracket, and you can see on the bottom there, that's where you take this cover off, just using a coin once again, and insert 4 C-size batteries, either rechargeables or NiCads, whichever you prefer. I'm using rechargeables just at the minute, but it takes 4 of them. You just slot in to the grip itself, and 2 with the positive down that way and 2 with the positive up that way. So it's marked inside the grip so you can't get it wrong. Anyway, your 4 C-size cells go in there, and you can then put your little cover back on and tighten it up once again with the grip. There we go, with the coin, it tightens it up. There's a little red dot on the bottom there, you can probably see it, just to show you the orientation of that base plate there. But that's basically it, set up and ready to go. If you turn on the flash now, you'll see it's being powered by the batteries inside the grip here. You can use the batteries in the flash. You know, the T32 uses 4 AA size batteries, or as I say, I'm using at the minute, I'm using the 4 C-size cells on the grip, and as you see, the charge light has come on the T32 there to show that it's fully charged up and ready to go. And as I say, when we have it mounted on the left hand side here, without the motor wind, which I'll show you, demonstrate to you later on, the flash is all ready to go. So we'll switch the camera on here. We're on in manual there. Winder on. Just make sure we're on 1/60th of a second, which is the sync speed of the OM2M, and there we go. So the flash is being remotely triggered via this through the lens cord, which is attached to the grip on the bottom there, via the through the lens flash. So we have through the lens flash capability via the OM2 spot program, and again, as I say, you can use that on any of the OM range that have a through the lens flash socket on it. If you're using, as I say, another one of the series cameras that doesn't have that through the lens, the OM1, the OM2, then you can use the PC connector, take that out of the bottom of the bounce grip and attach the camera via a good old-fashioned PC connector. Of course, you won't get through the lens flash by that means. You just have to use the flash in its computer setting, but you still, at least you will have the option of connecting the flash via a PC socket for any camera basically that doesn't have the Olympus OM through the lens connector. So you can use it with other flash guns. I mean, I have a Vivitar one put in this and attach it via the PC socket, and it works very well. So you're not restricted to using the Olympus T series, but if you have a T32, then it's a good gun to use with this, because as I say, you're still maintaining the through the lens capability of the T32. So very good from that point of view. And just to demonstrate, as I say, that the flash gun is being powered by the batteries in the grip. If I turn the flash off and I'll take it out here, you'll see that there are no batteries in the T32 at all. You can put the 4 AA batteries in there as well, and of course that would just increase the longevity of the batteries as well. It would make it quite heavy, of course, but as I say, you can either power it via the batteries in the grip itself, or you can use the flash gun's own batteries, or you can use them both together. You can use the batteries in that and the batteries in the grip, which will give you the maximum duration of flash, of course. So that's the Bounce Grip 2 mounted and connected up via through the lens on the OM2 Spot program. Now there's also another feature on the Bounce Grip 2, which you can use the Bounce Grip 2 in conjunction with the Olympus OM Power Winder, either the Winder 1 or the Winder 2, or if you have an Olympus motor drive, which are very rare species. There's not many people have one of them nowadays. I don't have a motor drive, I just have the winders. But you can connect this Bounce Grip via a winder, and I'll demonstrate that now. But in order to do that, you have to mount the flash on the right hand side of the camera. At the moment you can see it's mounted on the left hand side, but in order to use it on with the winder, then you have to rotate the head around on the Bounce Grip and use it on the right hand side. So we'll do that now. We'll switch the head over to the right hand side, and as you can see, whenever we do that, we'll take the camera off and we'll get ourselves a power winder here and attach it. Here we have the Olympus Winder 2, and we're going to attach that onto the OM2 Spot program. As I say, I've already taken the little cover off the base. Always remember to take that off before you try to attach the winder to the OM2 Spot program. So that screws into the tripod socket on the bottom of the OM2 Spot program, and now we have the Winder 2 attached to the OM2 Spot program, ready to go. Now, in order to attach this to the Bounce Grip 2, we then have to move the attaching screw here into a different position on the bottom of the grip so that it lines up with the screw on the bottom of the winder, which is, as you can see, is very much off to the left hand side on the winder too. So that's why we have to move the little attachment screw over to the hole nearer to the left hand side. So we'll just get that, and we'll screw it in here to the one on the left hand side here. And then we attach it to the base of the Winder 2. In fact, that one's a wee bit far over. I'm going to move it up to the next one. Whoops. So it should be the third hole over from the left hand side. There we go. Does that line up okay? Yes, it does. Just excuse me fiddling about here out of camera shot, but I will show you when I get it attached. So there we have a Winder 2 attached to the Bounce Grip 2, and again this through the lens cord comes from the Bounce Grip 2 and plugs into the socket on the OM2 Spot program. The OM3, the OM4, 4TI, whichever through the lens model you happen to be using. So we'll just get this plugged in on the side here. There we go. So that's us ready to go, but as you can see there's a bit of a problem here. You can't get your hand in to operate the wind on lever, and in order to release the shutter on the camera, we use another Olympus OM accessory, and this is where this strange little button on the OM2 Power Bounce Grip 2 comes in. It says M grip cord, and it's actually a shutter button on the grip itself. And in order to attach the shutter button to release the shutter on the camera, you need this little accessory from Olympus, and it is called, get it out here, the Olympus M grip cord, and it looks like this. As we can see, it's a little lead, it's a little angled socket on one side and a little plug on the other side. And what that does is the little angled plug plugs in to the winder via its remote release socket there, and the other end plugs into the M grip cord socket on the Power Bounce Grip. I triggered the shutter there by mistake, but this now means that to trigger the camera you can operate it via this shutter button on the Power Bounce Grip, and you're not trying to manually wind on and trigger the camera via its normal shutter button. So if we turn on the T32 here, and we now have our shutter button on the Power Bounce Grip 2, so it's quite a solid arrangement here, and you're all ready to go and release your T32 via the shutter button on the grip cord. So we'll demonstrate here. There we go. That's me using the shutter button on the M grip cord to activate the camera, and we're still shooting in through the lens mode via the T32. So very nice versatile accessory, the Power Bounce Grip 2, and as I say, the head does rotate up and down, so you can bounce, you can tilt it downwards for macro, or you can just, as I say, lock it into, once you've locked it into position via that little lever there, little lock release there. So you have quite a versatile piece of kit, and of course the great thing about the Bounce Grip 2 is you've got the flash away from the axis of the lens. It's up and off to the right in this case when you're using it with the winder too, or if you don't want to use the winder, save a bit of weight, then you can take it off and mount the flash on the left hand side of the camera over here, and just manually wind on instead of using the shutter release button on the Bounce Grip. So a useful piece of kit. As I say, it comes with the little PC cord on the bottom built in, so you can use it on the old OM1, which only has a PC cord connection. It doesn't have any through the lens capability. and the OM2 series, of course, they have a PC cord as well, so you can use it with them via the PC cord, and then use your T32 in computer flash mode. The OM2N, you can actually replace the hot shoe on the OM2N in order to use this through the lens connector here. If you take the hot shoe off the OM2N, there is a hot shoe adapter for the OM2N, which is this here, and as you can see, it has a through the lens connector on it. So if you're wanting to use the OM2N with the through the lens cord, you can, but you'll have to take the hot shoe off. The hot shoe is detachable on the OM2 and OM2N, and you can replace it with that. And once you have that on, then you can connect the camera via the through the lens cord. So yeah, very versatile accessory, and as I say, it stops the dreaded red eye from spoiling your shots, because I say that is a big problem. That's the only thing I don't like about the T20 and the T32 series cameras, is that if you mount them in the hot shoe, it's a bit of a problem with red eye. So if you can pick one of these up, the Bounce Grip 2, Olympus OM Power Bounce Grip 2, then you'll save yourself from all those red eye woes. So it's a very good and very handy piece of kit to have. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll probably be doing another one on just on the winder itself without the flash gun. But I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.